today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardry.
And we are here today with Gary Stevenson.
Yay.
And Gary is a volunteer extraordinaire.
Yes. Yeah. A professional volunteer. Yes. I'm so glad you're on today, brother. How you doing? How you doing?
So
I'm doing well, and I appreciate
yeah,
thank y'all for having me on your show.
Thank you for joining us. And so Kat and I both know Gary in different spaces. Kat volunteers with a veterans organization here in the Metro Atlanta area that Gary also is a part of, and they feed veterans and they go out and they do
other week. So like this is National Veterans Week appreciation. So we do a ton of stuff in the community, and I love just how God works, right? You got good people. So here it is, me and Karen doing some stuff. And I'm like, Karen, why don't you come out and volunteer one day? She's like, girl, I'm down with it. Let's go out and volunteer. And we out there feeding soldiers, hundreds of soldiers and everything, giving them 75 pounds of food or more. And she like, Gary, I know this guy. And it's like, wow. So I just love how good people are. When you out here really serving people,
yes.
Your paths will always cross. So
absolutely.
That's how we all know each other.
Yes.
And so I know Gary as we've mentioned before, I'm an attorney and I do court appointed work, working with young people and also working with families. And Gary is a CASA volunteer, a court appointed special advocate for children.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lay person, and he has been on one of the cases that I've been on for several years now, since like 2019, 2018?
Yes, something like it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. And so the young person that he works with, he's had a relationship and been his CASA since this young person came into care. So Gary, tell us about the CASA program.
Yes.
Okay, now let me tell you how I got started with the CASA program. Let's go there first. So my first introduction into the CASA program started when I was stationed over in Germany. It's gonna tie out. I'm gonna keep it brief, but it's gonna tie up. So I was getting a tibia realignment because I was real bowlegged, so I was in the hospital, and so I had a lot of time to research stuff. And I know I've always been one to give back. I said, well, when I get back to the States, I was in Germany. I said, I'm going to join an organization to give back. So I started searching. So I wanted to be a guardian at litem, but you have to be a lawyer for that. Mm-hmm. Now CASA is CASA and guardian at litem, so they work together, as you know. So I wanted to do that. So I wasn't a lawyer, but when I was researching, as they say, CASA, and it's okay. So I could do the same thing without having those identifiers as a lawyer. So it didn't keep me from giving that capacity. Right. So I said, "Oh, I do that." That was like it was 2017.
Okay.
And when I saw that, I joined. I went to the classes. I inquired. I've been a CASA volunteer ever since. Actually, I'm the longest serving CASA volunteer in the Newton County area.
Wow. I can believe that.
So what is it like with regard to getting people involved with CASA? How you're the longest serving person in that area. What's the recruitment like, and what does it take to get someone to stay on board as long as you have? What's the incentive, or how do people go about doing that?
Well, to stay on board, there's got to be commitment. You got to be devoted to it. My 17 years has been 17 years of commitment and devotion because I care. Not saying that other people don't. I do care. I genuinely care about people to make their lives better. If I can do anything to make somebody's life better than what it was, it don't have to be dramatic, outstanding, astonishing, but it's better than yesterday. I'm all for it. And so I there's a website I put on is CASA, nationalcasa.org. Yes. Which actually today is like the 40th anniversary. Today is the 40th anniversary. And so going online, and it tells you how to donate, volunteer. We need help. These kids, by no fault of their own, are in some horrific situations. And they need somebody to speak for them in court. This program that started back in, let me tell you when I started, back in 77 by this judge up in got to watch him. He had to make a decision on a 5-year-old child about an abuse she went through, and he's saying it's hard for me to make a decision about her life when there's no one representing her. There was no one there to know the details of what's going on. I soliciting volunteers in the community to start helping to go out and see these kids, because DFAC don't do, as we know, DFAC is overwhelmed. And their caseloads are anyway. They turn in. I may have a caseworker today and another one tomorrow. It's just that busy, and God knows I know they care, but it's overwhelming. So we need the community to get involved, especially, and hear me out here. I'm not making reference to anything that's wrong, but what is wrong is in the Black community. Black men, please help us here. Yeah, a lot of Black youth who needs that help. You know, that can relate to these kids. I take all the cases I can. Anything you give me, I'm gonna take.
Right.
But I love, and they they give me a case. My quote unquote supervisor. Gary, can you take this case, young Black man? And she feels so. I think when she tells me she feel kind of bad. Don't feel upset. No, right. A lot of more to feel bad because she's putting the Black kids. But no, because you want that relationship, to where you could probably relate better, and which I can. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I don't hold it against you. We know what's best for that child. So my role is I'm that voice in court for that child. Now I've had many cases, male, females, white, Black. I've had them all, but my preference is
are young Black men,
right?
Yes, and I happen to know that they think very highly of you in Newton County Juvenile Court.
Thank you.
The previous judge who passed away, there was one of the first cases that I was on as the guardian ad litem in Newton County. This was a few years back. It was a young man, and the judge specifically asked that coordinator to appoint you to that young man because he wasn't going to school, and he wasn't going to school because it's a family situation.
Right.
I remember that case.
Yes, but she specifically asked for you because she knew that you were going to get in there and form, that he could relate to you. And so I know that they think highly of you in the Newton County Juvenile Court system.
Oh, that's great.
Now, Karen, I didn't know that. I didn't know that the judge specifically asked. I didn't know until now. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That means you're making a difference, brother. That's real good.
Apparently, I am. For you to say that, and Karen, like I said, we work together, so you know my passion. I don't cut corners. I am there for that child because there's been times that I have not agreed with DFAT and or the guardian ad litem, the lawyers. I don't agree. I mean, I am there for that child. I will say this, and I say this with everything in me. When I talk to my kids, I let them know, and not that the rest of the people don't care about you. I'm the only person that comes to see you, and there's not a paycheck attached to my name.
Right.
Or my business.
That is true.
That's right.
That is true.
I'm the only one. And that's saying that they don't care. I'm the only one. I have to pay to come see you because I got to pay them. I got to give them, they take my mileage. I pay gas. I do all that. I'm the only one that don't get paid to come see you because I care. Not saying they don't care. I care.
Yeah.
What is it? Because we mentor, we're trying to get involved, and just had a conversation with another adult about how we pour into some of these kids, and for some reason it just doesn't click for them to have their own motivation. Like, we can't keep giving you the fish. We have to teach you how to fish. And something about, I don't know what it is to get kids to say, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get caught up in gangs. I don't want to end up dead, when we know that their pathway. What are some of the tools that you use to try to get these kids to like flip and be on that positive side? Because you give scholarships and they don't go to school, they blow the money, they drop out, like they don't see the value. And even in my business, I say, my job is to try to help you see the value in wellness before something catastrophic happens. And I feel like that with our kids. I want to help you before something detrimental happens to you that might be permanent, or for the life, like going to jail for life or being paralyzed for life. So what is it that you do, if there's anything that you notice that help get children on the right path, these young folks? That was long, just to ask.
It was.
That's a great question. And I think for me, my thing is I connect with them. My first thing is to build that trust. You have to build that trust. You can't come in, and I know I'm a spiritual man. You can't come in talking about God, because half of them mad with God anyway because of the situation.
Right.
And you can't come in with any other way. So my goal is to relate to them. Now I've been a street kid all my life. Come up from go home, but their streets have influence. They have influence over parents. I promise you. So parents, y'all think the streets don't have more influence than you? Sometimes they do. But you gotta relate to these kids of where they are, meet where they are. And so you start talking in lingo, start telling them, hey, I've been there. And when you can share your experiences that relates to their experience, then they start, okay, I can talk to this guy. He understands. And then once you do that and they build that trust, then you can tell them how you got out of that life and how you came better. Somebody helped me. And I was once there. It wasn't in the foster care system, but I was once downtrodden, didn't have no desire to live, just did what I want. Then you can ask about a 5-year plan. I ain't got a 5-minute plan. I can't tell you what I'm doing this afternoon. But now these kids, when I talk to them, I meet them where they are. I don't judge. It's a judge-free zone. Talk to me.
That's right. That's very important.
Talk to me. It's very important. I'm a guy that I'm not, I'm not blaming your parents, because you got great parents. And everybody that goes in foster isn't because of bad parenting. Some kids just do what they do for whatever reason they do, and they get taken out of the home. I'm that piece that God sends in and say, hey, you're going to be an advocate. You're going to be that buffer. You go in and do what I want you to do. And meet them where they are. And I do it. And fortunately, I do it well. I'm not patting myself. I just, because I want them to understand, you don't have to be there. I tell the kids all the time when it comes to courts and jail and all that, one thing that can't happen, and will never happen, that judge that gives a sentence to whatever crime that's committed, they got the minimum maximum. They can't give you 1 day. They can't give you 1 second if you're not in that courtroom.
Right. This is true.
So they can't. No one's coming to your house and going to give you a court date or a sentence for being at home. You have to be in front of that judge. So let's keep you from going in front of that judge.
That's right.
Because we know the justice system is not equal, and we ain't gonna get into that. That's another topic. But don't go before that judge. Let's keep you from going there. That's my goal. My goal is to keep you from going there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that that's the message that you're providing to these young people. What are some of the activities? Do you have an opportunity to take them out and do things with them?
I can't. Unfortunately, I can't go. I can't move and transport them. I can't do a lot with them. But I can. What I do now, I'm a season ticket holder to the Falcons. 2 seats. So I encourage you guys. And hey, if you guys complete this or do this, I will give you and your mother or father. Y'all take my seats.
Okay.
But it's incentive.
Yeah.
On me.
That's a real nice incentive. I tell mine I'm gonna take them to Chick-fil-A on Sunday.
Like I'm just kidding. So Gary, did you
say what you're wrong for that?
Did you say you've been a CASA since 2007 or 2017?
Oh, 2007. I'm sorry. It's been 17 years. I think it was
I thought you said 17 and then you said 17 years. Okay.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So how many in those 17 years, how many young people's lives have you been involved with?
Look at him smiling.
You know the number?
You know what? Karen, I can't even give you a number, but it's been a plethora. It's been a lot. Yeah. But the cases go on for a long time. So you may have a case for 2-3 years. Yeah. So if I can guesstimate to my best ability, I would say of the children that I've represented as a CASA volunteer, I would say about 15 to 20.
That's a lot.
Wow.
But again, those years, the cases last for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So how many cases? How many young people do you normally work with at one period of time?
Get out of my head.
Well, I usually take one because it is time consuming.
Yeah.
We have to do a lot, and so I've recently taken 2 cases. So
Okay.
I'm working on 2 now, and that is I got to rethink that for the future because it is time.
Is it 2 new ones besides the one that we are on together?
No, it's one we're on, and there's another one.
Okay.
As we're working, as we're working this one, I have another one that I'm working at the same time.
All right.
So how the process works, you get assigned a young person and you're with that person until the case is over.
Until they age out, the case is over. Yeah.
Okay. And what's age out? What age is age out?
I'm telling you.
So it's either age out or they return
they 18.
home. So it's just as a caveat. It's either they age out, they get returned home,
okay, or
there's a guardianship, or the parents' parental rights are terminated. So
okay,
at some other way there,
Karen got that legal aspect. Yeah,
that's
right. That's where it is. That's where it is.
I just wanted to, because they really
people need to know that.
Yeah, they really don't want kids to be remaining in care until they age out. They really want kids to have permanency. Right. The goal is for kids to be in care no longer than 2 years. That's the goal.
Okay.
And with family.
Always. Yes. And they want to. The goal for just about every family is always reunification, unless there's some extenuating circumstances that those children cannot be returned, or that child cannot be returned. For instance, if there has been some sexual abuse, if there has been the murder of another child, these are reasons that they will go directly for a non-reunification. Like these are parents or a parent that this child should not be returned to. So but the goal is always reunification. I know people don't think that, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard that DFACS wants people's kids because of the money. Really? DFACS don't want people. They don't want your kids. Right. They don't want your kids. They don't want your kids. They don't want your kids.
What they don't want your kids.
I know that's right.
They don't. Some of you don't even want your own kids.
I know, right? But DFACS does not want your kids.
The objective is to get kids in a safe home.
Yes, and usually there's a lot of children who DFACS has some involvement with that don't even get to the court system. They try all kind of services, what they call family preservation services, to help the family. So if they've been working with your family and then the children have to get removed, something wasn't working. Somebody wasn't doing something that they were supposed to be doing. So usually by the time the children come into care, unless they've been abandoned or there's some abuse or something like that. But if it's like drugs is an issue, or unsafe housing or being unhoused, they try to work with the family without those children coming into care. So by the time they come into care and they've gotten a CASA, in most cases, the department has been involved with that family for a period of time.
I want to give the big shout out to everybody who volunteers and pours or is paid and pour their heart and souls into our young people and trying to help them get stable and be safe. Like, you deal with it every day in your full-time job. Gary, you deal with it. I'm volunteering, but there are so many people, DFACS and so forth. I think I heard a lady say that, some of the things they were doing were not legal, like trying to help these kids and let them come into a space so they can sleep, so the kids can get off the street, because they're caught in the middle of all of the legalities and logistics and the red tape, the paperwork, and to get these kids in a safe place. And you just hear people saying, I know this person is on the street. I can't let them do this and so forth. And they're risking their job to try to help these kids because they know they don't have any place to go. So my heart just we need to give big ups to people who are trying to help our children, from educators to defects to just whomever, you know, everybody that's doing that. And we just need to spread the word that we're doing good work, but we need more people to step in, because the momentum, like you said, brother, them streets, it's a lot of going on in them streets, and our children have more influences than just parents and good people with good hearts, you know, trying to help them. It really and truly takes a village. So to transition into that, how do we get, what information do people need if they wanted to become a CASA? Where do they go? How long is the training? What background do they need? Drop some tea on that.
Okay, now you just posted the website. Go on the website. You know, they got a plethora of information: how to join, how to donate. You know, you don't have to do things behind. You know, you don't have to make secret deals and trying to help these kids. You go to the site and you can donate money. You can donate whatever it is. You can donate your time. Now, when I went through the training was 9 weeks. It may be a little longer now, but it's cool. It's great training. And I go in when they have new recruits. I come in. They'll ask me to come in and talk about what we do. But I tell you what, once you do it, you get this feeling like that you made a difference. And that's the thing. It's something that money can't pay you for. It's something that you know that's so deep in you. I made a difference. Your life is better today than it was yesterday because of me. And that is so, it's so liberating to me. It's just I started in helping people when I was a kid. You remember at time, I think this is back in I'm 60 years old. When I was getting allowance, I used to send my money to the project.
I remember that.
You know, send money through the mail. I know before money gets stolen, I used to send money through the mail to the care project. And I was 13, 14 years old. So I've always been helping. So as a consul, you work for the judge, you report to the judge, you got access to the medical, the school, anything that a parent has, you have. And you're that spokesperson, you're that voice to that judge to make a decision about that child's life in court. That's you. He or she listens to you just as much as she listens to the lawyer, or anybody else. She listens to you as well. So there's no disparity. There's no, you're just a lonely person. No. Sometimes he or she listens to you more than she listens to those legal experts.
Yes.
Because you have that physical contact regular.
And so also the CASAs, when they go out, they're meeting with the children. You often have a lot more, not often, you do have more contact with the family than anybody in that courtroom does.
Oh, really?
Even as a guardian ad litem. That's what I was wondering. Even as a guardian. So I serve as a guardian ad litem on some cases as well. And as a guardian ad litem, I'm the attorney version of Gary. However, because I may have 50 cases at one time, I don't have the time that Gary has to be able to really investigate fully the things that he can. So I often will rely upon their reports because they've had the time to talk to the doctors. If there are other providers, like if the kids are in therapy, they talk to the therapist. They talk to the school teachers. They get school records. So oftentimes I rely upon the CASAs to be able to gather that information. And another thing that I have found is that other family members will talk to the CASA volunteer before they will talk to the attorneys. So in some cases, the CASA volunteers will know about the great grandmamas, the great granddaddies, the godmamas, the aunties, the uncles, and y'all will know about all of the people that's in these children's village, and they will call y'all and talk to y'all freely and give y'all information. Oh yeah, well, I saw the mama such and such place, and I got concerns about this. And so the CASAs really become enmeshed in the lives of not only the child, but of the family as well. Because, for instance, as a guardian ad litem, I have access to be able to, I can talk to the parents of the child who's in care, but I have to go through their attorney to be able to talk to the parents, because the parents are represented as well. As a CASA, he doesn't have to do that. And so they're going to be guarded in what they tell me, because I'm trying to figure out as a guardian ad litem, you know, how is the parent doing on their case plan, which is their roadmap of how they're going to get these kids back. And they're not very forthcoming with me, but they'll talk more to a CASA. And so you guys just play a very important role.
A liaison between, and you know, so you have the trust of the court side and the family side, and so now you can bring it all together.
Because really, what the CASA is the CASA is the eyes and ears of that judge and the child, but also for that judge and advocating for that child and bringing information to the court that sometimes the case managers aren't even aware of. Oftentimes, the case managers aren't even aware of.
I coin it as this: we are the safety net, so no child should fall. We are the safety net. That's what we do. So no case will fall through the crack.
I know that's
and so how do we get more Black men involved and Hispanic men involved, men of color involved in being a CASA? What in your opinion, what do you think we as a community need to be doing to reach out more?
I'm glad you asked that question. I just received I'm glad you asked the question. I just received an answer to a survey about getting more people, men of color, into that. And I told them you got to reach out to them. First, you got to make the organization available, known to men, Black men. You know, first of all, you got to make it known to them. So, you know, utilize your churches, or men visit the churches, wherever they go to where positivity is prominent. Then put the information out there. You don't just wait. You know, in your churches, there should be separation of church and state. But when a politician comes in, you put him out there, or her out there,
right?
Then put CASA on your ballot. Talk about. Come on, these are people giving back, and it costs nothing. You're helping your own community, your people. Come on, people, let's do that. So you got to reach the Black men who are unaware, because they just don't know. You know, once you're aware of it, you do or don't do it on you. But I got to make you aware of it, and so that was my key point to them when I did the survey. Avail the information, and whatever means, start with the churches.
That's right.
And so if a coordinator is not familiar, we'll say, with the Black community, they don't know that they could reach out to like Masonic temples. They can reach out to Greek letter organizations. They could reach out to 100 Black men of whatever county or whatever city. Because they're Jack and Jill. Because there are organizations that Black men are affiliated with that are doing positive things. And because we
absolutely
we see them all the time.
And I love the point that you made. You want to have separate with school and religion and politics, but you let the politicians come in and talk to everybody. So let's start passing out this CASA information to recruit within. I want you to say the website for our listeners. What's the website for CASA?
Is National CASA, CASA, one word, GAL, guardianlatum.org.
Okay.
Go on to the site. They will tell you the history, how it worked, our impact, advocate for kids, events, how to join, how to donate. It has a plethora of information to make you successful in working with one of these kids. And I encourage anyone in my voice range who sees this and hears this, please, you will not regret it. That is your way of giving back without effortlessly. You can really do this. Just it's a conversation, but it'll make that child life so much better. And then once you start, you're not gonna stop. I promise you.
It's contagious love. I know that's right.
I love that.
And we can do it in any county.
Yes.
Right? So any county.
They got all counties. When we go on the website, they'll tell you what county sponsors this, and it's out throughout Georgia. So
actually, it's nationwide. Okay. Yeah, CASA is nationwide.
Okay.
It's nationwide. Yeah, nationwide.
It's nationwide. And so if you're listening and you're in Michigan, Detroit, if you're listening and you're in New York, it's California, there's a CASA program in your state. All states have it.
Nationwide.
So it's nationwide. And even if they don't call it CASA, it might be like Friends of Court or something to that. It may have a different name, but there is a CASA program. Affiliated program.
But you definitely can start out with that website, and then go from there. Because with your time, your talent, your treasures, you don't know what to do with it. Start out with CASA.
You said it greatly. You're absolutely right.
I roll with you, Gary. I'm good. Look.
we good.
I believe in what you're doing, man. And that's why I'm so glad we all know each other.
Yes.
Because we are doing this great work. And I mean, dealing with our young people, all of us are very passionate about that. I just cannot express how important it is to uplift our kids. And I say this all the time. I mean, it may not be politically correct, but you either need to invest in proactive programs for our young people, or you're going to be investing against your will for reactionary programs, right? That's going to be legal or somebody breaking in your house or everything. So I would rather put all my time and talent
on
and
the
treasure on preventative measures, proactive measures. Let's go ahead and be proactive and put these kids, because if they don't have anybody to do anything positive, it's a world of negativity that is pulling them. It's like Ghostbusters. Remember all the negativity and that was taken over? But if you have positivity and somebody to love on you, just to say, I care about you. I've been where you've been.
There you go. Pay now or pay later, but you're going to pay. You're going to pay.
I love that.
How do you take care of your mental, brother? We're all about mental wellness. How do you take care of your mental health while you go out here and do this great work that you're doing? What is your go-to well-balancing program?
I do a lot of volunteer in other areas, with the veterans, and I do. Matter of fact, Saturday morning, I got a men's group that I work with at work, and we go out and help single parents and seniors in improving their home. Find if they got problems at home. Matter of fact, we're going out Saturday to complete building a ramp. The guy that has his he has a handicap ramp, and I got a lot of the guys I work with on my job. They're engineers, electrical, whatever, and we're going through we're wiring this whole house for safety.
Okay.
So we're doing a lot of things, but I love to run. I do a lot of audio books. I love opera. I love jazz. So that calms me down.
Okay, now learn something new about Mr. Stevenson. Okay. That is awesome. Is there?
I got a 20-year-old son that's the joy of my life. He keeps me going. So I teach him as I go, and so he gives me so much joy. So when I get stressed out, I give him a call and we'll chat it up.
So now, where's your son?
He's with his mother up in Cherokee.
Okay. All right. But he's in the metro area. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Gary, thank you so much for pouring into us today about CASA. And my wish, my desire is that everyone in the sound of your voice, our voice, that hears this, if they're not able to get involved, that they tap someone else to get involved, because it is such a necessary program. It is essential in the lives of these young people, that they have a voice outside of the courtroom that can advocate for them.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us today on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Well, we are impacting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Thank you for having me. It has truly been a pleasure. I was kind of, and I never did this, so I was kind of, I'm going to say the right things. But you guys made me feel very comfortable. So thank you.
You did well.
You did very well, brother. And thank you. And we are, how do I end this now? I'm so sorry.
So as always on Conversations with Karen and Kat,
where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.